Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Have you guys ever seen that graphic visualization of people fleeing California? You know, it looks something like this, and keep in mind this data is only for a 1-year period. This is US Census data between July of 2020 and July of 2021. Just look at the numbers, and keep in mind that these numbers essentially persisted throughout the next couple of years. Hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing California, fleeing the Northeast for the greener pastures of red states in the South and in the Sun Belt. Now, of course, the question that follows is why? Well, the answer is pretty simple. It's because of Democrat leadership, or rather Democrat non-leadership. We got some more news to cover, stuff that you could only see out of California. Yep, I guess you could say these stories are uniquely Californian. New York City Mayor Eric Adams said New York City has a brand, and he's certainly right. But there's also another place that has a brand, and that's California as a whole. Let's continue to cover that brand. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we all remember leftoids telling us that the crime increase that you saw post-pandemic, well, it wasn't organized retail theft, it wasn't gangs, it wasn't the cartel. No, AOC told us it was hungry people who had to feed their kids, and so they were stealing bread. They were just innocently taking loaves of bread. The only thing being stolen is Wonder Bread off the shelf.
And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. So you maybe they're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
That's the narrative the Democrats tried to push forth in this massive gaslighting campaign. We're the crazy ones. Don't believe your lying eyes. It's not organized retail theft and smash and grabs. It's just victims, victims of the patriarchy and victims of capitalism and white supremacist America getting their reparations. How stupid. California, of course, has adopted a similar doctrine, and they've essentially decriminalized crime. It's no longer a crime in California or in many cities in California to shoplift anything under the price tag of, I think, $950. And well, obviously the response has been not just starving people stealing loaves, but mass, widespread retail theft, accounting for probably, I'd say, easily in the hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars a year. Leftoids tell us that retail stores are closing in inner city communities because of discrimination, bias, and racism.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens is planning to close yet another pharmacy in the Massachusetts 7th, this time on Warren Street in Roxbury, a community that is 85% Black and Latino. These closures are not arbitrary and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination.
But the reality is they're closing because their shelves are being cleaned out. Now, where are all these products going? Well, to warehouse distribution facilities.
Into what appears to be a small market in South LA. Once inside the store, this LA County Sheriff's team found boxes piled floor to ceiling, filled with cosmetics, medication, and toiletries, along with a stash of sensors. Investigators tell us this location is used to relabel products believed to be stolen.
Over hundreds of thousands dollars worth of products stolen, and which we're going to try to recover as much as possible.
Once inside, detectives were joined by investigators from corporate stores like CVS, Target, and Walmart, who pulled out boxes and boxes of stuff they believe were taken from their stores. I want to show you what's happening behind me here. You can see that they're loading all of the products into this very large moving truck. Both corporate investigators from CVS and Walmart are here, and they're able to identify if their products came from their stores. And it's very easy to do because many of these products still have tags on them. This South LA market was just one of 12 locations the Organized Retail Crime Task Force served search warrants at Thursday morning. Investigators say it's all a part of a single criminal organization believed to be connected to recent smash and grab robberies and cargo thefts in Arizona, Nevada, and California, all brought right here to LA County.
We've identified over 10 individuals involved in this particular operation, but there's numerous out there because we are considering them crews.
At this warehouse in Florence, detectives found dozens of pallets of household goods,
This is the reality of the situation. Cartels, gangs, organized groups are roaming around in stolen vehicles, going from store to store to store, stealing designer clothes off the racks, stealing designer purses out of some of these flagship stores, going into Apple stores and taking all the iPhones, simply ripping them off the tables.
Mamas! 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 Where's my... Hold on, where's Mamas? Got one! Got one! Got one! Got one!
Over and over and over again, one store after another, dropping like frickin' dominoes, and then all the products are sent to warehouse facilities where they're organized, sometimes repackaged, and then sent on the black market to be sold in many cases by illegal migrants, openly on the street corners where nobody does a thing or even bats an eye.
On any given day, this plaza at 24th Street and Mission in San Francisco can look like an outdoor convenience store with everything from toothpaste and pain medication and even cookware, all for sale. Now, a new law co-sponsored by Supervisor Hillary Ronen is being enforced, targeting those who are clearly trafficking in stolen goods. Some of those vendors decidedly unhappy about the enforcement and unhappy about seeing our camera.
I wonder why people are leaving California. Oh, it's probably because they're racist. I wonder why businesses are leaving California. Oh, they're racist. No, they're not racist. California has simply become a third world country. You know what? That might actually even be an insult to third world countries or developing nations. I've spent a good amount of time in developing nations, and this kind of thing doesn't exist. It seems to only exist in California. California is the only place that's put their hands up and said, you know what? Crime is now legal. I wonder why people are leaving. How many times have we covered clips, news interviews with retail business owners in places like San Francisco and LA telling us they simply can't deal with it anymore? It's a daily occurrence where people walk in, multiple people in a single day, and just take things and walk out. We covered one business owner who said people don't come in his store anymore because so many homeless people literally take pisses in his entrance to the point where it smells so bad that people don't want to come in. And he's spent thousands of dollars hiring professional cleaners to clean the entrance, but the smell won't go away. He's used every product imaginable, and again, it smells like horrible ammonia. That is the environment that leftists have created, and they're wondering why people are leaving. Gavin Newsom says, actually, it's all fake news, and people aren't actually leaving, and California is still the greatest place on earth. Don't go to Florida. Oh, Florida is a horrible, terrible place, led by a fascist dictator taking people's rights away. How incredibly stupid. Really, it's the only word that you could possibly use. Stupid. It's freaking peak clown world. What is the purpose of living in California? Gavin Newsom tells you, well, it's the greatest place on earth, the greatest economy, the greatest this, the greatest that. Sure, maybe the greatest state if you're a tech billionaire oligarch, but what about regular folk? What about starting a business? What about the tax climate? Well, as the Sacramento Bee reports, California's business tax climate is among the worst in the nation, tax study says. Here's why. For the 12th year in a row, California's business tax climate ranks a dismal 48th among 50 states. The latest survey from the Tax Foundation finds. What about on education? California is supposedly the richest state collecting the most tax dollars. Well, the study found that California falls in the middle of the pack when it comes to overall education rankings, according to WalletHub, finishing 29th out of 50 states despite having the 8th highest quality of education in the nation. In other words, rich people do great. Poor people, well, you're kinda shit out of luck. California is the greatest place on earth if you're a Hollywood elitist, if you're a media oligarch, if you're a Silicon Valley tech giant, CEO or executive, but it's the worst place on earth if you're a regular person trying to get by. It's the worst place on earth if you're a small business trying to operate, and it's absolutely the worst place on earth if you're running a retail business. Oh, but California is ran so well by all of these Democrats. Everything they're doing with our tax dollars is meant to save the world. No, California isn't the leader in the world when it comes to investing in climate issues, cleaning up the environment, whatever you name it. Go to places like Singapore, they do it all, a lot of it, through private enterprise, and they're very successful. California is a money laundering racket where they tell you they're doing all these great things, but then the reality, well, it's something quite different.
New lawsuit filed by the Environmental Protection Agency and California water officials. The releases have been happening since 2016. It amounts to an average of 1.8 billion gallons each year of combined sewage. That includes untreated sewage, wastewater, and stormwater runoff. The lawsuit also alleges the city allowed its sewer systems to fall into disrepair and didn't notify residents about the presence of sewage. An SFPUC spokesperson called the suit unfair.
San Francisco is accused of dumping untreated sewage into the bay. The environment. Democrats are just so good on these issues. No, they aren't. They just sell you a scam. They sell you an image, a vision, and then they rob you blind while delivering no actual tangible results. But don't worry, folks, because plastic straws are banned in California. Just don't ever think about taking a dip in the LA River or the San Francisco Bay, because you might come out of the water looking like a frickin' Futurama mutant. Holy moly. The worst state on earth. I would literally rather live in a poor red state in a trailer park than in this leftist, fascist hellscape, this mecca of mismanagement known as California. What an absolute, utter disaster. But that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the video. Just some more updates, some more news stories to add to the pile. We've made, I think, easily over 100 of these videos at this point. Just compiling stats and news stories and news segments, hopefully giving a clear understanding as to why so many people are fleeing. California went from one of the greatest places on earth to one of the absolute worst places to live, known on the globe. I'm telling you, I'd rather live in many developed nations. The standard of living, the levels of crime, the opportunity, the beauty. California loses in almost every single aspect to actual impoverished nations. It's insane. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.